and welcome back to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton. And we're here today to talk about Everton Women and what's been going on recently for them. Absolutely thrilled to be joined by Sienna again. Despite what's been happening, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Very excited to be back with this pod and talking all things Everton again. But we'll start with the positives. We'll start with some a good note. Our first game of the season was against Liverpool at Anfield. We've got a fantastic record at Anfield, and this was no exception. It was a 4-1, quite convincing win, I'd say. Sienna, what did you make of this game?
Well, I've been thinking about this for a long time. I know it was over a month ago, but it's still running in my brain constantly because these should have been the foundations that we were meant to build on. And it should have given us the momentum for the next few games, but I don't know where that went. But you can't speak about this game obviously without mentioning Ornella Vignola. What a dream debut! That you can't get better than that. There is no better than that. Like her first game for the Blues is away at Anfield to our Merseyside rivals, and she just goes and gets a hat trick. That's insanity to me. Like so good. And I know that she did get all of the glory, and rightly so. But I felt that I need to emphasize how impressive that was because, like I've mentioned, we're away at Anfield, and it's not just a debut hat trick against some random side. Their fan base is really passionate, and they bring a good crowd to Anfield. So it's a hostile atmosphere, first of all, and the environment is just there's so much pressure. So for her to thrive there is amazing and such a special characteristic to have in a footballer, and a footballer who is 21 years of age. I think I I didn't know she was that young to start off with. She acts a lot older, and her footballing skills make her seem older, but she's only 21. So to be at that level without having that much experience is insane. And you you can tell it's something special because even others see it too. Did you see that Ian Wright was at
Yeah,
the game at Manchester United? Like
yeah, I
Ian Wright
did.
is picking up on this, and he's going there specifically to support her, which just shows how amazing she is as a player. And you would hope that she can shine in this squad, and there will be more opportunities for that. I know that the games that we're going to talk about haven't been so lucky, but I really do think that she's going to be really vital for this squad going forward, and hopefully when we pick up more momentum.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been tough at the minute. And as we talk about going on to the next game, it was our first game at our new home, Goodison Park. Um, Although it was a 2-0 defeat to Tottenham Hotspur, there are still a lot of positives that we can take from this, with particularly over 6,000 seated at Goodison, which is which is 5 times more than they ever got at Walton Hall Park. So despite the result, we can take some positives. What were your thoughts on this game?
Well, Chloe, I think that's the only positives we can take is the
Yeah.
atmosphere that we brought, and that's the start of our new life. Like the match day experience is completely different and new for everyone, and I think that's something that's so it was so important because we really needed it. Like we spoke about Walton Hall Park, we love Walton Hall Park, but it needed modernizing. We needed a place where we could grow and we could get more people down to the game, and Walton Hall Park wasn't that place. It wasn't going to foster growth. So that's that's the really good thing about it. But I don't know. I don't know. Did they fold under the pressure of first game at Goodison? And maybe for them, that was more intense than the pressure at Anfield because they've got such a good streak against Liverpool. It's almost like maybe that fuels them in a more proactive way. but this new thing, like they've never had to live up to a place like Goodison. Maybe that was the issue with Tottenham, and maybe Tottenham just were there on the day. They have some good players, so you don't know, but disappointing defeat, really.
Yeah, yeah, it was disappointing, particularly when, like you said, you'd expect the Goodison we know is like this huge fortress that it's not working for the girls. And then coming up next, it was London City Lionesses, a new team, someone that we haven't seen before in the WSL. I've not seen them play, so it was quite exciting. Like, oh, we could go into this and get a win, but unfortunately, it wasn't to be. Yuka Mimikova getting the first home goal of the season. And but unfortunately, this did come with an injury to Courtney Broughton, meaning she's been out with an MCL injury for the past couple of months. But what are your thoughts on this one?
Um, I hate to say it, but this game I think is where I start feeling a bit more concerned. Like I said, I thought, oh, it could just be the pressure before that they'll grow into it. But with as much respect to London City Lionesses, that was their first victory. That was their first victory in the top flight, I believe.
Yeah.
So always really like, oh, do we have to be that team? You know, you're written on the wrong end of history, and I hate that. I hate when it happens. Um, but we did start strongly, and I thought that was positive. But once London City Lionesses did get into the game, it just went downhill for me. I think it was a bit anticlimactic. That there were still chances. Like I think Rosa Van Gaal had a stoppage time header, but nothing that was convincing enough to claim an equaliser or get the victory. So
Yeah. It's just so frustrating at this point because we've got the talent, we've got the players. It's just not, something's just not clicking. And I don't know if it's just because of all the new signings or what it was. But then we had our first game in the Subway League Cup against Man City at the Joy Stadium. This once
mm.
again ended in a 3-1 defeat. We don't have a good track record against City, especially when it's a Wednesday night at the Joy. But I saw quite a few positives during this game, and I just want to get your thoughts on it because it looked like we had some good possession. It looked like we did quite well, and we did challenge them a couple of times. But it just Man City are just such a strong team.
Well, I always think this. I think for some weird reason we do turn up against the top sides, and I don't know that lights a fire in their bellies or something, but they do carve quite a few chances and moments. You think, oh, they could have a good go at this. Like they could really be fighting them here. Um, Obviously, you mentioned Courtney Brosnan's injury last time out, so it was Emily Ramsey's first game in this streak between the sticks, and I've been really quite impressed with her, to be honest. I think she made a save, Bunny Shaw from close range, and that was on like the 20th minute, and that was her first high pressure kind of save, and I was thoroughly impressed and have since been thoroughly impressed. So that's a positive. And as you say, we did produce opportunities, and we always do against the top side. So another positive. But it's Manchester City. They have such good quality, and unfortunately, they just outmatched us.
Yeah. Yeah, and Emily Ramsey, like I said, she's been superb. She hasn't played for almost a year and a half, just through she had an injury and then she just wasn't getting picked. But
Mm.
she's really, really been proving herself, and I've been so impressed by her, especially in the game against Forest, which we will get to in just a bit. Um, but then our next game was away to Brighton, where it just once again ended in a 1-0 defeat, this time Michelle Adjumang, who got the goal. It's just becoming a bit of a pattern, isn't it, this, for losses and that, because I feel again they started well, but they just didn't capitalize on anything.
Yeah, it's always the final product, isn't it? Where we're lacking, which is something that I think you can refine. I don't think it's a red blaring alarm, but it's just so annoying when it happens again and again. But I did think it was a narrow defeat, and also like they have such big threats in that side. They've got Michelle Adjaman, who's like England's new youngster who's just coming out from the blocks, and all of a sudden she's just thriving and she seems to be getting better and better. And then Fran Kirby, who assisted her goal. So you've got like the youth and the experience. So I think they just edged it in the way that they had that. Um, but I think Maz Pacheco looked really quite good in this game, really quite good down the channels. So I think she's one to look out for. As we say, like no final product there, but there is always creating chances. There is attacking intent there every single time. So we just need to find a way to turn that over and score a goal.
Mm. Yeah, I've really enjoyed watching Maz play. I really enjoyed her last season when she was at Villa. So when it was announced in the summer that she'd signed for us, I was like, wait, what? We
Get
we
in.
we've got Maz. Sorry, Maz. Like, yes. It was so exciting. And the next game, this was the game that frustrated me the most. It was Leicester away, and this finished as a draw, so we got a point from it. But this frustrated me so much because I feel like again we could have so easily have won this game. And just what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, how did we not take all 3 points? Like
Win.
how did we not? It would have been the perfect game to break up this dip in our form, and we could have just gone like this. But wasn't to be. I don't know. Like we had so many chances. We had so many. And I think it's the fact that we didn't kill the game and we let them grow in confidence. They got a bit of impetus behind them and they went on and scored the equaliser. And then from there, I'm pretty sure they controlled the game. Like we didn't they had the final say. And I think that's something that I'm sure I've spoke about before is being able to control the game when you're 1-0 up. We're we're not great at it. So focus there as well as being more clinical in front of goal. Just being able to see out that lead, do whatever you need. I don't care. You can park the bus. That is fine with me. We needed those 3 points, but what can you do?
It's just it just feels like such a cycle at the moment. It's just so repetitive and it's just not good because something Jenny needs to change because the next game was Man United. It was the first game we played at the Hill Dickinson Stadium, and what a stadium that is. There's been a lot of confusion about why the women were playing at the stadium, and I've come with the facts to clarify.
Clear it up, everyone.
It's I mean I'm happy with it because it was my first time visiting the stadium and it was stunning, and also over 18,000 people there watching the women play was amazing. But it's stated in WSL rules that the women have to play at their like men's home stadium at least once a season. So that includes us playing Man United, and it also included well, Arsenal's 4 times the Emirates, but Man City are playing I think 3 games at the Etihad. United are playing a couple at Old Trafford. Yeah, it's just basically in the rule book that they have to play there at least once, but no complaints from me. But this unfortunately ended in a 4-1 defeat. Honoka Hayashi got goal, the first goal of the game, and the first goal for the women at the Hill Dickinson. But going ahead against United teams as strong as United, I thought that was it. Like I was
I
thought,
thought that was it.
yeah, I thought we looked so strong. Like we were blocking Melvin Mallard. We'd managed to get Jess Park when she came on, but it unfortunately they then equalised and it just went a bit downhill from there. Sienna, I know you were there. You were on press duty.
I
What
was there on press duty.
what did you make of the game?
I think it's one of them games where you look at the scoreline, and if you didn't watch the game, you're thinking, oh my goodness, like they must have had a shocker. But really, I think it was one of our most promising games out of this bad run of form. I know that they had a few chances to start off with, as they would. They're Man United. They've got really strong players there, but we were so resilient. Emily Ramsey, obviously, making some brilliant saves. But the whole time that they were going through that wave, we also had waves of counter attacks, and I could really see that belief on the counter attack that we could get something, and we did. Thank you, Hinokashi. Thank you so much. And from there, genuinely, like I just said, I really thought we were going to see out a 1-0. Actually, I didn't even think a 1-0. I thought it was going to be 2-0. I did
Yeah.
from there. But the rest of the half, like I think it was just a good game of football. Like I was really, really enjoying watching it. I think anyone who enjoys football would have enjoyed that. It was back and forth. We gave them a game, they gave us a game. I think anyone could have had the next goal, but then went back into the dressing rooms, came back out, and something changed. Something changed because as soon as they got one of their goals and they got a goal back, they they found a way to exploit us and broke us down completely, basically. But um, it's always the four Maloney's, isn't it? Jess Park getting, I can't remember how many, two, a brace, right? Two
Race.
goals, a brace, yeah. It's always the four Maloney's. We offer such a great environment to foster and shape their skills, and then it's thrown back in our face. Always happens every single time. Every single time. So thank you, Jess Park. I miss you. You didn't have to do that to us.
Yeah, I miss Jess Park too. But then we've only got one last game, and this was Sunday's game in the Subway League Cup, another League Cup game. This was against Nottingham Forest, WSL2 side. It finished 1-1, but then because it's the Subway League Cup, it had to go to penalties to decide an extra point, which I think is a bit of a stupid rule because penalties just penalties are an absolute no for me anyways, but when it's watching Everton take penalties and you don't they've had a huge shake up in the team and you don't know who the penalty takers are anymore, and it's like, oh, this is a bit stressful. But we won on penalties. We won 4-3. Emily Ramsey made two incredible saves to deny two penalties in. Um, but this game confused me a little bit because I was there, I was watching. I was really confused about some of the positionings, and I don't know if anyone else noticed this or saw this, but it was just something I was a bit confused by. Because like Claire Wheel is normally on centre midfield, but she looked like she was just kind of everywhere on the pitch a bit, and I didn't really know where her position was. Maz and Kitagawa, they kept swapping sides over time. So it's like Maz would be on the left, then she'd go to the right, then she'd go to the left, and then Kitagawa would do the same, just keep swapping. And I'm like, oh, I don't really understand here. And then at one point, Katie Robinson went from striker to left wing to right back to right wing again. And I'm like, what? The only person I think stayed in position is Emily Ramsey. And even then, I'm like, why doesn't she just have a go? Why doesn't she just go, oh, Kelly, do you
Oh,
want to
just get her up top, put her in the nine.
at one point, I felt like she was gonna be like, "Yeah, Kelly, do you want to just come and go for a minute? I fancy a go at striker." Like it just really confused me a bit. But again, Emily Ramsey, incredible, saving two penalties. She made some amazing saves again. She's been showing up so well recently, and it generally cannot have been easy for her, just being like almost flung into these difficult games. But yeah, I just want to know your thoughts on this game because it really confused me at times.
Well, I saw something on a social media platform, can't remember which one, and someone said they were at the game and they were very near to the bench and where Brian was, and she heard one of the players shout back to Brian, "Where am I meant to be?" Like you said that they didn't know where they were. They didn't. They didn't know where they were, and this puts me in like a crisis. Like, I'm gonna have a mental breakdown because what do you do at this point? I am so glad it's an international break because I think everyone would have just gone mad. Like I can't predict what would have happened next. And it's like this was meant to be like a gift given by God as an opportunity for us to find our confidence again, to get back on our feet. We've been dealt a WSL two side who are mid table of their league. They're not at the top, and I wouldn't say we struggled against them, but it should have been easy, and it wasn't easy.
No.
It wasn't easy. We didn't win the game. We won on penalties, obviously, but we didn't get 3 points, and we should have got 3 points. That should have been a convinced, signed and sealed 3 points before we even stepped foot on the pitch. And it wasn't. And I don't know how it wasn't. And I don't know what was happening on the pitch. I don't know whether all the injuries are throwing everything off. And maybe it's the fact that I know a few of the games before Brian spoke about the struggles they've been having kind of getting those partnerships because there's a lot of new players in the squad there is. So I can appreciate that it's going to take time for it to gel, but that was a step further than it not gelling. That was like discombobulated is the only word. That is the word that describes that game. Discombobulated.
Yeah, it was a weird one, and also the next four games are also like ridiculously tough as well. Like we've got Aston Villa away, and as we all know, Villa going to Villa away is hard. We've got Man City at home, we've got West Ham away, and then we've got Newcastle in the Subway League Cup. Now we can say Newcastle is a WSL2 side, but they took Man City to penalties as well. Like they are, it's such a tough run of games, and I know everyone says don't worry, it'll be fine, but I'm ridiculously worried because we're sitting 10th in the table. We've only got 4 points. The only reason we're not lower is because West Ham and Liverpool don't have any points. It Something's going seriously wrong at Everton at the moment. I know that there's big injuries, Meg Finnegan and her ACL, which I don't even really understand that one because I thought she already had surgery on it and she was recovering well, but then they say she's having another surgery. Like, has she ruptured her ACL? Did she not have surgery in the first place? Like, I'm really, really confused by this, and that seems to be a lot of the case at the moment of Everton where there's injuries, but we don't know what they are.
Mm-hmm. Because I was saying to you right before this news came out about Meg having to have surgery, I was going, oh, she should be back soon, surely. Like, obviously, a month or so maybe, but like, oh yeah, I'm thinking that's good. We'll have more strength in numbers, even if she's not back to match fitness straight away. That's just a bit more depth in the squad, and then that comes out, which was not bizarre because if that's what's happened, that's what's happened. It's unfortunate, and my heart breaks for her that she's had I reckon it's a setback
Get
in
back.
recovery. Um, so my heart goes out to her. I feel so bad, and I want to see her back on the pitch so badly. So I really hope that from here her recovery is just positive and it goes like this and we can see her back on the pitch soon. Please, please, please. But you're right, like I feel like there's so many injuries and I know so little about the injuries. I feel like I have no clue the time frames when people are going to be back on the pitch. And it's just like so vague.
Yeah.
And that leaves you with a sense of unease.
Yeah,
It really, really does.
it's just a huge lack of clarity about it all, and it's like we actually don't care. Well, we do care a lot that they're injured, but we don't care that they're injured. We want to know what it is, how long they'll be out for. Like with Courtney Brosnan, she is such a huge presence, like on and off the pitch. Like she's always the first person you can hear from anywhere. Like she's so loud and she's so on it. Like she is a key. I wonder if she's probably. It's gonna start that again. Like she's her missing is a huge loss because of how like loud she is in her presence. And I don't know if they're just missing that big leadership presence with, Meg Finnegan, Courtney Brosnan, Katja Snoyce is also injured,
Mhm.
who's in that leadership group. Claire
Mm.
Wheeler's currently got the captain's armband and she's really good. Like she's taking that leadership role so well, but also if she God like touch wood gets injured, what will happen then? Like there's just such a lack of clarity and with 9 players injured. It's
Well, I spoke to Brian in the press conference after the Man United game, and something really stuck out to me that he said, and I was like, I wasn't shocked because I kind of was aware, but I didn't know how apparent it was in the squad. He said that in an ideal world, he wouldn't be playing Elise Stenovic because she's she's not got the minutes. She didn't have a preseason. He said the same about Claire Wheeler. He said there's so many on that pitch that they're not my first choice. Like I don't want them to be on that pitch, but that's where we are, and
mm,
that's kind of where we've been left. So I don't know where these players are in terms of full fitness or things like that. I'm scared that some of the squad aren't up to full fitness and they ideally shouldn't be playing 90 minutes, but have to play 90 minutes or have to play 70 minutes or so.
well, this international break is also worrying me a little bit because we do have some internationals. Like we've got Claire Wheeler who's going to be playing against Wales and England in these
Yeah.
friendlies, and it's like, what can she? I mean, as much as I'm excited because I'm going to the England Australia game, as much as I'm excited about going and being like, oh my God, there's our wheels. I'm like, can you not play her, please? Because we kind of need
I
her.
just admire her from the bench, please.
Yeah,
Please.
just sit from the bench and I'll just look from afar. But can we not play her, please? Just because I don't want to risk any more injury. But it's also the question of what do we think's going wrong? Like, where do we think it's all going so wrong for Everton? Is it the injuries? Because I know we had a big injury crisis like this around this kind of time last season, but we managed to get through it. We were doing okay, but this time it just seems so different and we seem so far from anything. It's really quite concerning.
Hmm. Well, I think it's so hard to to put it down to one thing. Like we've got injuries. Obviously, like it's an injury crisis we're in, alongside the fact that it's a fresh squad. So there's a lot of new partnerships being formed in different places along the pitch. One partnership that I haven't mentioned, but I've really been loving seeing this season and seeing last season, Tony Payne and Kelly Gargo.
Yes.
So again, wrap them in some cotton ball, please, because like we're on our last legs here. The straw is so thin. But yeah, so I'm wondering if it's a mixture of that, the fact that we've not got experienced players to kind of aid those partnerships going ahead, because that's natural that you're going to have people experimenting on the pitch, testing each other's relationships. But I think it's also important then that you have really strong relationships somewhere on the pitch and someone that's very confident in what they're doing. And I fear that we don't have that at the moment. I
No.
think we're lacking everywhere. And a lot of it is so unfortunate and it's bad luck. But it's just so disappointing. Like we've been talking about it. We're so disappointed with how the season's going. Because we were speaking on the last report show, rewind to that one, and we're going, next season's gonna be so fun. Like
Yeah.
I'm so excited, it's so promising. Goodison, we've made
So
all
many
these
new players
signings.
as well. Like,
We saw everyone gelling at the end of the season. The culture around the club is like amazing. Everyone's best friends, and it's just not materialized like that.
yeah, so I feel like things definitely do, something's really going wrong and things do need to change. Whether that be a managerial change or like backroom staff change, but something just needs to be done because I'm aware we were in a bit of an injury crisis last year like this, but it just didn't seem this bad. And I know I absolutely adore Brian, and I think he's such a nice guy. You always hear him talk about how much he loves the team, he loves the players, how much he just loves, Liverpool as a city. His daughter goes to school in Liverpool, and she says she's really settled. She loves it there. He loves it here. And it generally breaks my heart to say, but do you feel like a managerial change would be needed, or like new leadership or something like that? Because it's just not going well.
Yeah, because we've spoke about this off camera before. So you know how hard it is for me to say this. And I feel like I feel like I'm betraying him because he's he's so lovely. You can tell how much the players respect him, and he's he's really like embraced Everton. He like goes to the men's games all the time. As you say, his daughters in the city, like they're Scousers basically. They are Scousers at this point, and as you say, it breaks my heart to say that I do think we need a refresh. Like I came up with this analogy earlier that I think Brian is like having your favorite teacher at school, and when you're around them, you're like you're less alert, and also if they ever reprimand you, you don't take it as seriously. Could that be the case about what's going on in the squad? Like everyone's too comfortable, and that we need a refresh. We need to change someone to come in and make them more alert. Like I don't mean I want them to be at a level of anxiety all the time. That's not what I'm saying. But this is like it's so natural what happens. Like managerial changes happen all the time. You have managers who've been at a club say like 10 years and they're part of the culture of the club and they still have to go in the end. And I know Brian's been with us for 3 years and it's kind of a really similar feeling. And I think with the women's game too, it feels, I don't want to say it feels harsher, but I think having someone who's so invested in the game, in the players, you that you don't find that everywhere. It's not as easy to pluck out a manager who cares so much about the club, who cares so much about the women's game and the growth. But I do think we might need a change if things don't start going our way again. I would give him more time. I'm not saying right now. I've seen a lot of people being quite harsh about it and calling for his head, as we say. And I'm not like that. I'm not that strong on it. But I think if things don't change, that's one of the most obvious routes to go down. Is well, let's change the manager.
Yeah. Yeah, because I agree with a lot of that. Like, I've never met someone who loves a team as much as Brian Sorensen loves Everton. Like, he loves it. You can see he generally wants what's best for the team, but something's it's just not right. And if it does come to it, then a managerial change is probably needed. But we just want to clarify, we don't like saying this. We're so hesitant in saying this.
No, that was difficult to say. I tell you now.
I didn't want to do it. Yeah, it's just something just needs to change. There's I've also seen a lot of things online about people saying it's Goodison's fault and the fact that women are moving to a stadium that's too big for them. They shouldn't be playing there because, like I said, it's too big for them. They can't fill it out. They don't have the attendances that they should be getting, and that's quite annoying because at Walton Hall Park, the facilities, I mean, we love it. Like there's a love-hate relationship at Walton Hall Park. We absolutely love it, but also the facilities were not as up to scratch as they are at Goodison for fans and players. And Goodison feels more professional, for want of a better word. it feels more professional. It feels like home, you know, it's a historic ground. It's where technically women's football originated in 1920s. It's where they got their biggest attendance for a women's game back in 1920. It's a historic ground and a historic figure. And I just don't understand why there are people who don't think that Goodison was the right move. And I just really want to get, you know, your thoughts on it because we were talking about this again off camera about why we love Goodison so much and why it is the right place for the women to be.
Well, listen, I want to dispute this. I really, really do, because I've seen so much online, and I don't know if it's people that come to the game. I don't know if it's just people that are involved more in the men's side, obviously, because it's Everton women are still overseeing it a little bit, but haven't really experienced it. But I need it to stop right now because the negativity, you know me, I hate negativity,
Yeah.
as was very hard to speak about Brighton. But this, I'm not having it. As soon as you're being negative about Goodison, you're cutting off like this stream of support that could come and fill out Goodison. Like you're being so counterproductive in saying that because anyone who did want to come to Goodison maybe isn't an avid supporter of the women's side and maybe is more of a they go to the men's games more, but wanting to go to Goodison to be sentimental and obviously get behind the women's side. That could be the difference between them going or not. They see that, they see someone that they're friends with, they see maybe someone they look up to in the content creation side speaking about it negatively, and they'll go, all right, well, I won't go then, it's not worth it. And that is like not what we need right now. I don't know whether it's the fact that you spoke about the legacy of Goodison, like that stadium for me, and just Everton Football Club in general, the pioneers, like it was the first purpose built football stadium, and the legacy of that's kind of been repurposed into the women, and now it's making strides in the women's game. It's setting an example there. So maybe it's the expectation of what Goodison was and how special it was to the men's side. And we know that like we're both Everton supporters equally for the men's and the women's sides. And I know I miss Goodison so much too, like for how it was at the men's game. And I want to build an environment at the women's game where no, it's not going to replicate, it's not going to be the same, but it can be something else that's also special. Like you can have two things that feel different but are equally just as great and amazing. And by being so negative about it, that's not going to happen. You've got to give it time. It's not going to be amazing straight away. And we're not going to get the numbers straight away. But Tottenham was a great turnout. And I think also with the way the results are, that's generally what happens. It was a rainy day on when was it that we played Nottingham Sunday?
Someday.
Rainy day. Someone might have been thinking, "Oh, I'll go get a ticket at the box office." Sees the weather. Oh no, it's raining. Like it could be that. It could be they're not doing great either. Like I'm not up for it today. But that's gonna like this isn't a permanent thing. We're not always gonna be in this bad run of form. I know we're talking about a lot of problems that are happening and that they need to fix it. And it is something that needs addressing, but it's not always going to happen. So I need people to open their eyes. I need people to be more positive and just stop this negativity. Thank you. That's what I have to say about that.
100% agree. And it's not gonna, I mean, we also just have to remind ourselves it's not gonna last forever. It's just an injury crisis and it's just a blip. Everything will be fine. Um, and then last point, we promise, we're aware we've been yapping a while, but there's a lot to get through. Um, just looking ahead at the next couple of fixtures, because I'm afraid we do have to do it. We did mention it earlier, but three next fixtures are Villa away, City at home, and then West Ham away. to be honest, it's actually not City that feels me with the most dread. It's Villa away because that one's always. Oh yeah, do you not think Villa away is a little bit?
It is. And in the current climate we're in, yeah, I do. But I don't know. I really, really want to be so positive about this. I really want to. And like, this could be so wrong, and the facts could completely stray against what I'm saying. I'm just going off kind of my head and my vision.
Mm.
Away from home, I don't think we're that bad.
No, we've drawn
Like
the past couple of times at home, away from home. Sorry.
exactly. And I could be so wrong, but I think it was 1-1 last season at Villa, or was it? What did we win? I couldn't tell you. My memory is like the worst thing ever. But I don't like it is such a hard place to go. Obviously, it always is away. But I'm I'm kind of on the side that they're getting more pressure from Goodison than they're getting from going elsewhere. I'm thinking,
Yeah.
but I'm hopeful.
And then I'm trying to remain positive about City at home because, last season we beat them at home. But that was at Walton. This is at Goodison Park. We're not having the greatest run. Could this be the turnaround?
I have another point
Oh,
which I haven't spoken about, which is important, and it goes back to Liverpool. Last season, we had Liverpool. What was it? 5 games in, maybe seven
yeah.
games in. It was around then, like around this time, maybe a bit later. And at that point, we were also just as dire as we are now. We were in a bad position, and all of a sudden, as we do against Liverpool, we turned up, and that seemed to spark some light inside of them. And since then, we dug out results, and that was when the Man City result came, which is why it reminded me about that. Is it bad that we had Liverpool at the start of the season? Is it bad that I'm wishing that we had them like in the next game so that we could get this again? I don't know. I don't know. It's just something I keep thinking about these days, which is why I keep thinking about the Liverpool game. But it, as you say, we can do it. We do it against these teams, and with the home crowd on our side, hopefully, with it being a top side, they're going to attract more numbers. And I know that that doesn't seem like right to say, but it's kind of realistic at this point that if you're playing a side like when we played Nottingham Forest and we didn't get the best turnout, maybe people that were like almost going to come for, oh no, because the the quality I'm going to see isn't going to be as great. Whereas if it's a side like Manchester City, they've got a lot of England players, maybe more support will be brought from that, um, and more support, more atmosphere, more hopefully encouragement for the girls, and hopefully they can flourish and thrive. That's my hope.
Yeah. Because I remember saying this at the start of the last recap show we did that I'll be really interested to see what it's like, with Chelsea and Arsenal towards the back end of the year because
Mm.
they were the two teams that always sold out at Walton Hall Park. Walton Hall, I don't actually know what the what is it? What the attendance is for um Goodison Park, like how many seats there
How
are,
many allocation?
how many allocation there is. Like I don't know, but I know at Walton Hall it was 2,000, like 2,000 max. I don't actually know what it is at Goodison, so I might just try and find that out. But I'm so interested to see what it'll be like when Arsenal and Chelsea and Man City are there because were obviously the best selling games at Walton. So
Mm.
interesting, but yeah, it's just a worry at the moment. Like it's just not a bit of a worry at the moment to be an Everton fan.
Mm. I'm trying to find out how many
That's just
seats it have, but I can't find out.
I don't know.
Because obviously the upper
Yeah,
buildings
there's nothing
is
on the upper.
gone.
It's just all the lower tiers, but I don't
Yeah,
know how
but
many. I don't know how many seats from the lower tiers.
Well, realistically, if you half it, it was almost 40,000, wasn't it? So maybe 20,000, maybe a bit less.
Because considering it went from 2,000 to that, and now we've got 6,000 for the game at Tottenham and London City on a Friday night was I think around 5,000. So
Mm.
attendances are going up. It'll be interesting to see again, like I said, City, Chelsea, and Arsenal towards the back end of the year. But yeah, it's just not a very fun
I
time.
agree. I agree with that point.
I mean, it'll be good to see the attendances rise, but yeah, and hopefully by that point when it does get to, Chelsea and Arsenal like back to back,
Hopefully, we'll know what the limit is.
and we'll get some good key players back as well because
Oh yes,
we
please,
know we need them.
please, 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 please.
Um, so I think that's all we've got to recap. Thank you, Sienna, for joining me again today. Sorry it wasn't the most fun and the best of times to talk about.
That's okay. It's always going to happen. It's not always going to be positive, guys. It's not.
So, and we're all in it together. So make sure you like, follow, subscribe, and leave your comments down below, and we'll see you next time.